Welcome to this segment of Soul, Silence, and Sound. This is brought to you by BeSimply.
Stars, trees, clouds, and the moon.
The segment of Soul, Silence,
They
and
all
Sound.
have a
This is
meaning
Suzanne
and they
Toro,
look
and this segment is
just
brought to you by
like
BeSimply. This is a full
you.
moon segment, and no matter when it reaches you, it'll be the perfect alchemical moment for you. And we're going to start with a little Dharma talk, Suzanne style, then go into some silent meditation and sound. And today we're going to be reviewing the word purify and seeing. Purification is a really powerful practice if you can welcome it into your annual and your lunar cycles. And the reason for this is that it kind of keeps you in well-being and balanced if you're consistently thinking about how can I purify my state of being, my mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual being. And there are things that we can all do on a daily basis that help us come back to that center point that's important to us. And there are things that we can do on a annual cycle and then a lunar cycle. And the one thing I want to share, I shared the last at the new moon, and we're halfway through this lunar cycle, is that depending on, who's presented certain things to you, you might have resonated with those things, you might have adopted them, but please know, in this day and age, there's a lot of people that co-op things from the internet that are actually based on kind of like a fable, if you will, kind of nonfiction. And there's things that people, even very historical things that people, quote unquote, believe to be true, yet they would be more fiction than nonfiction. And so the beautiful thing about looking inwards and purifying is the deeper one gets to know thyself, the easier it is to start to see things truly as they are. And so that's the theme of this Dharma talk, is to purify and to see. And when one can see, you can't unsee what you already know. And this can create friction in our general society, because there are varying degrees of people's ability to see, their ability to be awake. And so what happens is someone gets really attached to what they quote unquote believe, yet they haven't seen. The old phrase, seeing is believing. And this is a really important aspect, that there is only one is. Aside from how you might emotionally meet a situation, there's only one is. Like the car is driving down the road. The child is walking across the street. The house is blue. Those are the ises, right? But when we start to make stories up about that one thing, like the child is walking across the street, if we start to say the child left his house destitute and is hungry and is looking for a new home, that's a much different is, right? But we don't know if all those things are true or if it's my imagination that made up those things. So for each and every one of you to really hold yourself accountable for when you see, and then there's this checks and balance. And so when we have a spiritual practice, there are times, transcendental moments, where you might see, feel, and hear perceptually something that is in another dimensional field than is in where most of your attention is in this waking state. And the checks and balances with that are that if you get a body of information and then you come from the unseen realm, we'll call it, and then you come to the seen realm and it corroborates, it checks, you're like, whoa, that's exact. So then those things corroborate, and then you can understand a little bit deeper why they were presented to you, what they mean, or that destiny was yours to meet, and that was just to give you a little heads up, whatever it might be. And the more that you are willing to see what is, the greater ease your life will reside at, because you're not trying to make fables and stories and all those things. That's what great books are, novels, all those things, fiction, are good in entertainment, movies, TV shows, all those things. Now, the World Wide Web, there's all these ways to entertain people, but that doesn't mean it's the is. And even then, as we go into these layers of complexity from this moment forward with humanity, people will start to have a deeper understanding of all the dimensional fields that we're accessing, and that where we choose to put our attention and where we choose to be. And the one field that's really been perpetrated upon, the field of suffering, is going through a purification. So that's where we talk about this purification. And so it's kind of like having good hygiene every day. So if you get up and maybe shower, you meditate, you move your body, maybe not all in this order, but every day you're taking care of your physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual body. Prayer, if you pray, maybe some reflective text, all these things will help keep your system purified in that sense. And then the outside world kind of finds its way. So what one person might say, though, is because there are a lot of these people that are obsessive compulsive, so they're OCD, and so they might be masterful at keeping their physical environment clean. They might be masterful at keeping their hygiene clean, yet they are anxiety ridden. They are moving at this speed where it's frenetic, and that really bleeds into the other aspects, their spirituality. It bleeds into their mental state of being and their ability to interface, not just with the physical realm, but the unseen realm. And so there's this nuance. It's not just about keeping things clean when we use the word purification. It's to purify things in a way so that there's harmony between all these fields that we access. And then when there's that harmony, there's a lot less being in and out of these dimensions. You might say, what does that mean, in and out dimensions? Well, if we look at a life and the Buzz Lightyear model, that you are an eternal being that has no beginning and has no end, and you get to move in and out of dimensions and forms for potentially, hopefully, for the betterment of the universe, the cosmos, the energy in and around the fields that you were destined to be part of. And so when you look at that, that has this resonance for you to engage with. And then you have a choice within that to make yourself a fluid, well-oiled, energetic field or not. And so when we grasp, when we get attached and maybe obsess about things, like people do that about nutrients, they do that about food, all these things. But when someone understands the energetic field, they can purify their system, not by pouring Clorox everywhere and keeping everything super clean, because that'll make them feel better, because the resonance isn't actually matching purification and like divinity. It's matching neurosis. And so as we purify these realms, it's to really come into harmony. And if you're had the opportunity to hang out with people that have very simplistic lives and they're laughing and joyful, I experienced this a lot visiting the Philippines. Very joyful communities, very fluid communities, meaning they sometimes get displaced. They're very equipped at getting up and going and still being happy. And they're also very equipped at being of service. And the interesting part is that field is the most marine biodiverse place in this earth plane, and is also the most diverse and rich, like with minerals and resources. And I would say it has to do with the happiness factor, the love that comes from their heart. And if you think of it, everything that it's not completely solid, but where our attention goes, the energy flows, and the amount of just pure joy, love for singing, all those things that comes out of this region of the world is really powerful, and their commitment to service. So happiness and service seem to be really an alchemical plus. And those things are really helpful in a purification process, meaning that if you're willing to be of service to someone else, that raises your ability to access this pure field of energy and to see clearly. And then also, if you're willing to extend your heart and step into the divine field, you kind of can put everything in its place, even if you're being asked to move because your house has been washed away in a big storm, any of those things. You have a different state of mind. And so as we round out this lunar cycle, we have this opportunity to really look at where within my internal state of being is ready to purify a little bit more, with the intention not to like cleanse all the toxins out of your body. It's actually with the intention to resonate at a state of being where you're more effective at serving not only yourself but others. And within that state, you know, the more refined your state of service is, the more likely that you're able to see what is. And so in that state, you know where to give, when to give, how to give. And you'll also have a lot of compassion for those people, places, and things that are, their days are basically co-opted by one neuroses or another. And if you're listening and you have a neuroses, I want to say, and I giggle because it's good just to giggle about it. Hey, step up and let's help you handle that. Let's help you find ease within your eternal being, your mental, physical, emotional, and spiritual being. That'll be the best service that you can provide to the world around you and yourself, most importantly. Because imagine you're on an airplane and you're hysterical. That resonance is all around the entire plane and isn't helping the whole. And I was thinking about this earlier, that, you know, in nature, it's so calm, but people are always freaking out in nature when they see an animal that's like where they live. It'd be like them walking into your house and start yelling at you because they're scared of you. Like, hey, I love it. People are like, hey, bear. You know, the animals are looking for a resonance. They're looking for someone that's just still, just like a kid. They just want to feel the resonance of calm. Someone that's in natural harmony. That's your natural state, is to be calm. So in this purification process that's being offered to each and every one of you right now is, how often do you stay in a state of calm, and how many things do you need to maintain that state? Meaning it's your natural state to be calm. And if you require like all these things to stay calm, you're still out of harmony. And that's the one curious thing I see right now of people reaching for resonance and sound, but they're not in resonance of calm, yet they're offering it. And that's a whole other discussion for another day. But you ultimately want, just like in a meditative practice, you want to find that sweet spot where you need nothing. You can go sit and be. You don't need an app. You don't need me. You don't need anything. You just sit and calm. You know, when I'll take people out on vision quests and I'm sitting remotely, like a ways from where they're sitting, but in the process with them, you know, the animals will come and look at me because I'm just hanging out, you know, in the middle of their nature. And they're like, oh, she's just like chilling like me, you know. There's no need for all these things, to take this powder, to take this gummy, all those things. If you're reliant on all these devices to keep you calm, call me. I will help you get out of that. And you can really set your target to remember that your natural state of being is calm. And then if you retain that, then it's a lot easier to see what is. That is the boy walking across the road. And you're out of that delusional state. And so the purification process starts, one, by a willingness to daily tend to those things, and on a lunar cycle, tend to them a couple times, if not quarterly in a lunar, and then annually several times also. And then from there, you're really, the effort of purification is to retain calm, to retain clear focus. Imagine where you work, your family, all those things. They all could benefit from you being clear and focused, and that will have a greater benefit to yourself too. And for those of you that are neurospicy, I'm neurospicy. It's okay. My brain works in all interesting kinds of ways. And sometimes they're contradictory. It doesn't matter. However you are, you can still access calm. So I don't want to hear that you can't because you feel like your mind's not capable. It is capable. I worked in clinics, and we get everyone calm within like 5 or 10 minutes. And then it's your responsibility to practice being there. Let go of the neuroses, let go of being neurotic, let go of all the grasping because you want to control, let go of all that so that you can be at peace and you can see what is. Because it's like this: if you have Chicken Little running around screaming about this, that, or the other, and the sky's falling, and this is falling, and that's falling, and this person did that, and that person did that, you cannot see what is because you're so consumed with the neuroses. So as we go into meditation, I want you, if you feel like you have any of these, or if you don't, great, you can still do this, to let go of those things that clog up your system, that keep you from being supple and in harmony with the world in and around you. And that purification process is really a surrender. And then what happens is when your electromagnetic field isn't all jacked up, for lack of better syntax, then you can truly see what is. And this is why we are starting to be able to see the predators very clearly. Humanity as a whole doesn't know quite what to do with all of them, because some of them are in their interpersonal relationships, in their businesses, they're all over. But the calm will help you see it, and then the calm will help you have a call and response and how to handle it. And it's the analogy of yelling at the bear in the woods. It's kind of the same. You don't want to be yelling at the bear in the woods. Just be calm and then decide where you're best to be. So, and then the final thing before we go into the meditation I'll share is that when we see that is, this is the one thing that's really interesting for people and might feel a little like grief around it, because everyone, all of humanity is being invited to let go of the unhealthy relationship patterns, the ones that are abusive, the ones that are manipulative, the ones that do not serve a well society. And everyone that's been in any of those or is still in those, the habit is very well ingrained in your entire being, but mostly ingrained in your eternal being. And so if you're willing, this is that moment to really say, okay, I'm really done with that. And I'm just going to keep practicing every day to move away from that state of being. And it literally is like, no, I'm not going to go in that revolving door anymore. I'm not going to go in that cycle anymore. And what that does is that pulls you away from what you're seeing as the predator, the manipulator, the agitator, all of those things. And then it pulls you into another dimensional field where you can stay calm, you can stay aware, and you can create. You can create in beautiful ways that are beneficial, not only to this perceptual physical plane, but through the ether in a way that feels good. And what I'd like to close out on before we go into the meditation is 2 weeks ago on the new moon, a friend of mine that I hadn't seen in a while, we were reminiscing about another friend, and not in a negative gossip way, a positive gossip way. We're not supposed to gossip, but if you're going to gossip, this is the way to do it. And we were just like glowing and like admiring this person, and And then later on, I reached out to this person and said, oh, I ran into so-and-so and we were talking about you. And it was just so fun to feel this vibration and big smiles and everything. She's like, oh my gosh, I felt that. It felt so good. Like but she didn't know where it was coming from until I shared. And so this is also the potential of what we have to share with society rather than harming people and trying to control them and manipulate them. All those things, we have the ability to pump each other up and celebrate each other's greatness and wisdom and the things that are of value to our society and one another. So if inspired, I encourage you to start doing this for yourself. I also encourage you to speak up and to purify with the intent to retain calm so that you can see what truly is. So thank you so much for listening to all of that. And what I'd like to welcome you to do is come up into an upright seated position. Pause if you have to go get into a place where you can sit. And then as you come up into that seated position, bringing that spine up, 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 I welcome you to drop your shoulders down. And then gently allow everything I just said, just wash away, fall into the earth below you. And just to really utilize this moment in silence as a really beautiful way to nourish your soul, your eternal being. And take a nice deep breath in. And out. Again, inhale. And exhale. Good. Another one. Inhale. And exhale. And then gently from there, following your natural breathing pattern.
circle in the sun. circle in the sand. circle in the sand.
Gently from there, I welcome you to gently lean back and recline or move fully into Shavasana, a prone position on your back with your palms facing upward as we transition into receiving sound. As you settle in, just take a nice gentle breath into the heart and out. Again, inhale. And exhale. And one more inhale. And exhale. And then continue to follow your natural breathing pattern.
Ano ani ai
Taking a soft, gentle breath in and out of your heart center. Gently breathing in and out. Again, inhale. And exhale. Good. One more inhale. And exhale. And then gently from there, when you're ready, you're going to roll over onto your right or left side if you're laying down. You're going to gently, when you're ready, come up into an upright seated position, being mindful of your head, and gently rising up, dropping those shoulders down. Taking another deep breath in and out. And again, inhale and exhale. Good. And as you continue to breathe in and out, welcoming you just to sip up and be with everything that arrived, and express a little silent gratitude or out loud, because wherever you are, if that's okay, for all that you are, all aspects of yourself. And then if you're inspired, send that out to a person, people, place that you feel it might be needed, wanted, and welcome. Some good cheer, gratitude, a little rah-rah can go a long way, even if they're not in earshot. And I would like to remind you that the key here in the purification process is calm. And when we're purified, all systems are calm. They can run optimally, meaning your physical body, your mental body, your emotional body, and your spiritual body. And so if they're not, you're having reactivity, and it is very difficult to see what is. And that was part of the story of humanity to hear, to keep humanity out of calm, to keep humanity from seeing what is. And how we can improve the current state of affairs is to find our calm, start to see what is, and then create from that place of awareness and to stay supple, because as soon as you start seeing what is, you will start to see more things, and you'll have a deeper understanding, a deeper knowing, and less attachment, less neuroses, less grasping. So you will be, by that effort alone, causing less suffering to yourself and others. And what a beautiful gift to offer yourself and the world around you. And so, if inspired, start there and meet it daily. You know the things that make you feel supple, like a fine oiled machine. And if you're not, send me a message. Tell me what's going on and we'll find a path to there. So until next time, I want to thank you all for listening in. I want to thank Kadri Scott, Dante Marino, Random Rab for your contributions in your own way. And I also want to just thank all of us, humanity, for making it to here. It has been a journey, and there's a beautiful one to come ahead. So until next time, this is Suzanne signing out with a full heart, a soft gaze, a deep bow, and a namaste. Be